face mask mandate will be eased as Singapore and Malaysia move towards a new phase of living with COVID-19. However, residents are encouraged to use them as a precaution against the virus transmission, as both governments consider that the situation is recovering.
Furthermore, 50 to 75% employees working from home will be allowed to return to their workplaces. The number of capacity for events is also added.
Now, furthermore, on the matter, we are now connected with our contributors Jessica Novia from Singapore and Basir Siswo from Malaysia. Now, friends, how have the citizens responded so far regarding face mask mandate that is no longer be required at outdoor public places? Maybe we can start from Jessica over here.
It feels like so surreal. So this has been like the largest relaxation of COVID-19 measures since the pandemic started 2 years ago. So when you go to like more crowded areas in the city center, you can see people gathering in groups of 10 and staying out past 10:30 p.m. So it's been like super surreal, and it really feels like almost like we're back to normal pre-pandemic.
So we can see from the smiles on your face at the moment that you're actually very happy with the face mask mandate being eased. Now we're going to Malaysia, Basir Siswo. How about in Malaysia so far?
Well, as you can see, I'm still wearing a mask.
Exactly.
And it's so it's not true. It's not true that the mask is not mandatory anymore. It is still mandatory. We're not sure how long this will go on. You can only take off your mask, for example, at home when you're driving or when you're exercising at the park or by the beach. But in open public places and indoors, you still have to wear a mask.
So basically, still the same thing like we currently have.
I was in Singapore last year. The same. But let me just comment a bit on Singapore. I was in Singapore for 1 week last week, and when they lifted the restriction, everybody was still wearing a mask. We are so afraid. I mean, I was trying to go without a mask, and everybody looked at me like, "Hello, don't you know that this is already allowed?" And and I think everybody is playing a waiting game. Like, are you sure? So until the third day, when the mask restriction was dropped, people were still wearing a mask. Nobody took off their mask in public.
Right.
Yeah, probably this is because it has been with us for quite some time.
Yes, and we need more adapting again.
Exactly, exactly.
So Jessica and I, we know that the mask has been lifted, so no mask mandate. But what about the health protocols? Are they also lifted, or are there any current changes?
Most of it has been lifted, but then we still have to do safe entry, which is an application that on our phones. So we still have to do that, and it's still 1 meter social distancing.
And how about in Malaysia? Is there any changes in the health protocols when people are now entering Ramadan? And there's also, I think in Malaysia also, there's a tradition of homecoming trips.
That's right. Just slightly better than last year. At least now you can cross borders and go back to your villages for Hari Raya. And you can also do the Tarawih prayers now. Plus, there is no social distancing at the mall. So that part is normal. But as far as other protocols are concerned, it is very much in place.
But is there any estimated numbers on how many people will go for the homecoming trips in Malaysia? As we know, in Indonesia, the Department of Transportation have this estimation about 79 million people will go on the homecoming trip. How about there in Malaysia? Is there any particular number?
Well, in Malaysia, I think the ballpark number would be around 4 million. 4 to 5 million, yeah.
4 to 5 million.
All right, now let's go back to Jessica. Jessica, can you tell us more about the public's reaction with the restrictions that are now being eased? Are they more relaxed or left in fear? Because I think if we look at Jessica, I think she's happy. She's like, we're eased, we're relaxed, and we're liking this.
But not according to Basir earlier.
I think it's quite interesting. Like, although the mandate of mask wearing outdoors has been lifted, when I see around, a lot of people are still wearing their masks. I think it's because the cases of COVID is still quite high. But then sort of like the response of people around is that it's still to be cautious about it. So I still see a lot of people wearing masks outdoors. But then, so people treat it like it's a common flu now. So if you get it, it's like, okay, you get it, and then just stay at home, and then just wait until, do some self-tests, and wait until you become negative again, then you can leave the house. But it's not as serious as it is treated before.
I see. So now, as in this month of Ramadan, is there any particular regulations being imposed in Singapore in terms of, I don't know, probably people are going out, I don't know, the tradition there in Singapore for iftar, let's say. Like in Indonesia, we have like the get-together for iftar.
Yes.
How about there in Singapore?
Yeah, for sure. So right now, the rules have been lifted for group gatherings. So now we have 10 people, when previously last week it was 5 people. So this means that for families celebrating Ramadan, they can go to, they can have up to 10 unique visitors a day. So it means that like family gatherings can continue.
All right. So for Basir Siswa in Malaysia, is there anything new from the government regarding COVID-19 update policy upon the Ramadan and also homecoming trips?
Well, perhaps we could talk about what's happening today. The international borders are all open. Visitors into Malaysia can come in without vaccinated, without being quarantined, as long as they are fully vaccinated and pass the PCR test. And there's a special exemption for Singaporeans crossing over into Malaysia via the land crossing from Johor Bahru, from Singapore to Johor Bahru. They don't even have to have any pre-departure or upon arrival test. And last night at midnight, when the border was open, thousands are already waiting a few hours before the border was open, and they expect a massive influx of people crossing over, about 500,000 the next 4 or 5 days. So that's massive, and people are almost crying and running around on the land crossing, celebrating at midnight as if it was really Happy New Year for everybody.
I think that's also the same reaction that we would get for the opening of the international borders. So Jessica and Basir, thank you so much for your updates from Singapore and Malaysia. We hope nothing but the best for you in terms of health, and also take care over there. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jakarta. Thank you.